survive and advance as far as first-round games. Everything pretty much to normal last night.
Yeah, there wasn't too many surprises. We got our field almost whittled down in half already in 1A, so I think we've got some excellent second-round matchups, though, and the rest of the tournament trail obviously is going to be really, really interesting.
And we're going to talk about the 1A field tonight, the last one that we haven't talked about this year as far as the tournament trail. Tomorrow, of course, Class 2A gets underway with their first-round regional action. But, Jason, we've got to go back not only to an Iowa record but to a national record, and that game this past week with Gladbrook-Rhinebeck and West Marshall State Center, 122-118, double overtime victory. That's amazing. When I opened that up, I thought I was seeing things.
Yeah, especially when you've seen some of the scores that we've had during the course of the year. I mean, to see that is amazing. And then you go back in time, and start looking at some of the six-player scores, and everyone points to that 1968 game between Union Witten and Everly with Jeanette Long Jeanette Olson and Denise Long, and that was kind of always the benchmark for girls basketball as far as points and excitement, and they scored more points on Tuesday night. I mean, or Monday night. It's just an amazing performance, and you break down the numbers, and you got 93 free throws. I'm not sure if that was a good thing or not, but the offenses and the scoring, and it's amazing. I know the offense that Gladbrook-Rhinebeck runs is really interesting as far as the mass substitutions, the Grinnell style offense. I know I told a couple coaches during the course of the week when I talked to them about it. I said I think we're going to make it mandatory that everyone implement that offense so we can have some more points scored. And a lot of them didn't like that idea, but man, it got people talking this week about girls basketball, and that's a great thing. And I know I have a lot of family from my dad's originally from Rhinebeck, and I have my sister lives there, and with my nieces and nephews, and they were sure. I know the town's really been talking about it over there, and it's a great thing for girls basketball.
No doubt about it. Well, let's take a look at the regional Class 1A pairings. As you said last night, first round action. We've already knocked down half the field, but we still are able to talk about all the teams we thought was going to at least be contenders for the state basketball tournament at Wells Fargo Arena next week in a few weeks. And one of those teams is going to be North Central Kossuth in region number 1. They're a perennial power, having a great season. But the team I kind of like, it's kind of Central Lion of Rock Rapids, also having a good season over there.
Yeah, this will be a competitive region. I think when you look at the top bracket, you're going to have a West Bend Mallard is going to travel to New Fonda, and New Fonda is always going to be a tough out. A well-coached team, and obviously a rebuilding year when you lose a player of the caliber of Susan Keys. But again, they're going to be a strong out. I think they'll reach the regional semifinals and probably play North Central Kossuth, a 1A qualifier last year, and they've had a fantastic season with just 3 losses, and so I think those will be the 2 teams at the top of that Region 1 bracket that'll be facing off to play to reach the regional to play in the regional semifinals. And then on the bottom side, I think that the game of the game in this region on Tuesday night is going to be George Little Rock versus Central Lyon. George Little Rock plays up. I mean, they play a tough schedule, and they've been competitive in all their games. They haven't been ranked this year, but I know I've looked at them pretty closely as far as I think if we did a top 20, they would definitely be in there. And again, they play a Central Lyon team that's just had a fantastic season, and I really think Central Lyon has a little more depth and a little more balance to possibly come out of that region, and I think they'll play North Central Kossuth for the state tournament berth.
Well, in Class 1A, region number 2 on the girls' side, you've got them ranked number 2, I've got them ranked number 3. Either way, we both know that they're an outstanding basketball team. Arweva of Westside, they look like the team that everybody's going to have to shoot for.
Yeah, I think they are, and I know I talked to Audible Arthur, Battle Creek Ida Grove's head coach Pat Miller's played both of those teams. The OABCIG is the top-ranked team in 2A, and they played both Arweva and Martinsdale St. Mary is the top-ranked team in 1A, and I know Pat seems to think they're pretty even, and I respect his opinion quite a bit. And I do think Arweva is the team to beat, and the team that's the team to beat in Region 2. I think they've got a pretty clear path, I think, to the regional final on that bottom side of the Region 2 bracket. Top side is really interesting, though, Tony. We've got 3 really outstanding teams. Akron, that semifinal or the quarterfinal game at Hayward between Akron Westfield and West Sioux, I think is going to be a great game. West Sioux dropped out of the rankings in our final rankings this week after being ranked for most of the year. Akron Westfield, again, another one of those teams. I think if we did the top 25, they'd be in that bracket. So I think that's going to, or they'd be in the rankings. So I think that's going to be an outstanding game. And on the bottom side of that top bracket, Galen Catholic came in this week ranked number 14. A lot of those same girls have some state tournament experience. They reached the semifinals of the Class 1A volleyball tournament this past fall, and a lot of those same girls play on this team. So there's some tournament experience there and some really good athletes. So I think you'll see Arweva probably against I think maybe Galen Catholic in the regional final.
That'll be interesting. In region number 3 in Class 1A, North Butler of Green, if you know girls basketball over the last decade or so, they're traditional power. They always find a way to get there. They're always well coached. West Hancock of Britt, another one. A couple of top 10 teams in this bracket to start things off for sure.
Yeah, and I think those are the two teams that'll likely be playing for that state tournament berth on February 21st. Both of those, North Butler obviously has the experience. They've been a state tournament regular the last 6 or 7 years, and they've got the tradition. So that that's usually worth 6-8 points. It seems like when you're on the tournament trail, and I think they'll have a pretty clear path to the regional final. Maybe Mason City Newman at the top bracket may be playing them when they in the semifinals on the 18th. On the bottom side of that bracket, Northeast Hamilton I think is another team to really keep an eye on. They've quietly had a nice season this year. Got off to kind of a little bit of a slow start, but have really played well the last 2 or 3 weeks. And I think they'll face West Hancock in the regional semifinals. And I think it'll be a really good game in the regional finals. And I think it'll be North Butler playing West Hancock for the state tournament berth.
In region number 4, as we get to the halfway point on Class 1A regional tournament basketball on the girls' side, we're talking to Jason Eslinger, the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, the information director. Tripola, tradition in volleyball, and now tradition in basketball, but it's not going to be all that easy. Some pretty good teams in the brackets there, and I know they've had a great season. They have had some struggles to win a few games down the stretch, so it's not going to be an easy road, especially in this regional.
No, I don't think so. I think especially the top side of the bracket, Tripola's in the bottom bracket of Region 4, but the top side, when you've got a ranked team in East Central, ranked number 13 this year and having a nice year, they're going to be playing a pretty salty Bellevue Marquette team on Tuesday night, and I think they'll play either Preston or Prince of Peace. Prince of Peace was a 1A qualifier last year. I got a lot of those same girls back from that team, and they were ranked for the first half of the season. So I think they have that tournament experience, which I think could help them. And a bottom bracket, Valley Community will be playing a Central Decatur. That'll be a good game. Valley's a state tournament qualifier from last year, and then we talk about Tripola and Megan Gilbert. We talk about her a lot in volleyball, and what an outstanding all-stater she is. She's got that same talent level in basketball as well, and she's tough to stop, especially at the 1A level, and so I think you'll see. I think possibly Prince of Peace and Tripola may be playing in the regional final for the trip to state.
Jason, we're going to take a break here on Friday Night Live. We'll come back and we'll continue to break down the other half of the 2001 Class 1A regional basketball. We'll be back. 2011.
Yeah. I can predict that one. 2010.
Yeah, and then I'd like to bet on it.
Me too.
We'll be back on Back to the Future here on Friday Night Live on the Iowa Sports Connection Television Radio Network.